Guess what? You left the job, but the trauma came with you. Because listen, just because you clocked out for the last time, like you're over it, you've had it, doesn't mean your nervous system did, right? So I want to talk about really, what you can do next and what's going on with you right now as to, and I'm sure these questions have come up for you as to why are you feeling the way that you're feeling right now, especially when you're like, but I left this toxic job or this toxic workplace environment. Why am I still going through what I'm going through right now? Where we're going to get into that so that you have a better understanding. Okay. Now, leaving was just the first step. That's step one. I applaud you for that. I do, because that's a big, courageous, bold, brave step in the right direction. Because we should not stay in any environment that violates us, that victimizes us, and does not value us. Okay? But the toxic job may be over. However, the emotional residuals is what's lingering. You understand what I'm saying? And there are common signs for post-job trauma that actually exist, and that's things like people pleasing, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, mood swings, guilt for resting. Those are telltale signs and very common signs for residuals, right? For the lingering effects from that toxic job. And that I want you to be well aware of, because if you're still checking emails at 10 at night, right? Just in case, because that's your habitual pattern. If you can't relax when you're on vacations, if you can't take naps because you feel like you're missing out on something or you should be doing something because you're in that busy mode, right? That hustle mode, that work excessively and I need to prove something all the time mode, that I always need to be impressing mode, because that's how corporate trains you, us, right? Society as a whole. You might be someone who is experiencing, obviously, the residual effects of the workplace trauma, even though you're no longer in that environment. And so that often leads into triggers in your business as well. For example, you might be over delivering in your business because you're used to over delivering in the workplace, right? Just to prove you're enough. Enough by whose standards? Corporates. You might be flinching every time you get feedback from a client or from someone in your circle and you can't take it and you're super sensitive because you're used to being overly criticized in the workplace. When you are launching a new program or a new product or service, that might be something you have like, it's a freeze, flight, or fight, and you're freezing in the moment. You can't move past, you're like still stuck and stagnant in this position of limboism, okay? And I make up words here all the time, so I don't know if that's a real word, but we're gonna call it a word today. Limboism, okay? That's my new word. And so, so you don't move. And you might be pricing too low as a result of where you've come from as well, like because you don't want to be too difficult, right? Because you're not used to getting what you're worth and what your work is worth. You understand what I'm saying? So those are some of the residual effects that come from you being in a toxic work environment. And those are the lingering experiences that you are the lingering effects that you are now experiencing as a result of being in that environment, probably for way too long, right? If we could just tell the truth. So, because it doesn't usually happen short term necessarily, it's usually those of us who tend to stay longer than we know we should. We should have been gone, right? If you are getting like negative DMs or negative comments or negative emails from perfect strangers, because people can be cruel here, especially on the social media world, right? If you can't just let that bounce off your shoulders, take it like a grain, with a grain of salt, like, or maybe even for face value, if they're saying something that maybe they could have said it nicer, not so mean, right? Because there certainly are mean-spirited people. But even within that, if you're somebody who is not experiencing lingering effects of workplace trauma, you might be able to take it, take that hit and be like, you know what? I can still see truth in that. you know what? I appreciate it. I prefer constructive criticism and positive feedback, but I'm going to take that information and do something good with it. Do you know what I mean? So, but if you're like clapping back, or I call it the Keisha clap back, right? If you're doing that, you're in people's face, you're arguing in the chats, in the comments, or like, you can't take a negative comment without like having a whole meltdown. You're definitely experiencing the effects of that workplace environment. Okay. I need you to reclaim safety for success, for your success. Okay. Reclaiming safety for your success, and safety within a success, if that makes sense. And meaning building safe rhythms in your business. Okay. And I come from the nursing world, from healthcare. So I always use analogies that have to do with being in the healthcare environment, in that industry. But I need you to get your rhythm back, right? Like if you're flatlining right now, we need to do something to get your regular rhythm back. Do you know what I'm saying? So we need to find your heartbeat again, your happy place. We need to jolt your spirit back to where it was before that job, or maybe an accumulation of toxic jobs, because Lord knows I have had my unfair share of those. Okay. Like they could have just spread the wealth, or spread I won't even call it wealth. They could have spread the toxicity, right? And I'm sure they have amongst many, but I've definitely had my share of those toxic jobs. Oh, yes, I have. And so, but I need you to do that, reclaiming success, and what did I say? Reclaiming safety and success, and redefining productivity without panic. So right now you may be scheduling your rest like a task because it feels wrong to slow down. But I'm here to tell you that rest is the new revenue. And embracing ease feels so good if you will absorb that energy and allow it to be, and attract that to you. Ease, right? A peaceful place. Attract that to you and actually do something about it so that it can happen for you. Your nervous system right now may feel safer doing all these busy tasks like admin work and, all the time consuming, tedious tasks that's keeping you busy, bogged down, and burned out, rather than you doing the things that is going to pay you and reward you. If you're running a business, then obviously you need to get paid for what you do, and you should love what you do. So you need to be more visible, but instead you're hiding behind your own shadow. And it's more comfortable and familiar to you to just be busy, busy, busy. It's just a busy, busy bee in your busyness and in the busyness of the day. But that will not serve you for long. It never does. It never has, and it never will. So rather than burning out in business after having gone through this toxicity, buildup in your body and in your brain, right? Because again, the lingering issues from your toxic workplace environment, why not go ahead and do something about it now? Right? Now, if you're getting what I'm giving and you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a comment right now so we can get this discussion popping. Let me know what's resonating with you, what's pulling on those heartstrings, what your aha moment is, and what you're going to do differently as a result of listening to my message today. And if, by the way, you're not yet subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode whenever I drop new content and or go live. All right. Now, here's something else I want to share. Why healing is the real CEO work you need to do. Because CEOs don't struggle, darling. they get the help they need in order to succeed and reach their next level so they can finally and eventually, sooner rather than later, live their first class life. And that's what I want for you. So, self-trust and self-compassion are the real tools for success. Self-trust and self-compassion are the real tools for success, not just building the brand and the business, expanding your team, building up your company and your empire. Also, rebuilding you, reinventing you, redesigning your life of what you want it to look and feel like, what you envision it to be, right? So, what does that look like for you? And only you can define what success is for you and what you envision for your life. You need to take some time to do that. And you finally need to start saying no to the things and the people that are misaligned with who you are. The real, true you, deep down inside you, at the core of your being, you, the fiber of your every being, that authentic you. No is a complete sentence. And we need to start saying more no's than yeses, right? And we need to start, I want you to start doing something radical for yourself and getting into radical action to change the dynamics of where you are right now and the trajectory of your life. That starts with one decision. That starts with radical action, right? If you feel misaligned with anything, I don't care if it's a client, if it's a partnership, if it's a, like a strategic partnership or a business partnership or a family member, friends, someone in your inner or outer circle, I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. If it is misaligned with you, with where you are now or where you are going, you got to get rid of it. Or them, it, her, him, whomever, whatever. Okay. Finally, say no to anything misaligned. Stay true to your core values and let that guide you. And you know what? It's okay to cry after a big win because I want you to celebrate every success, no matter how big or small. I talk about that all the time, right? Celebrate our wins, the incremental steps you're taking, the miles you're reaching, the mile markers, the milestones. That's a beautiful thing. But if you're crying, not from joy, but rather because all along this felt like survival, and you've come to this come to Jesus moment, and you realize that now, and you're asking yourself why you waited so long and why didn't you see it before and how did you end up here? I need you to be okay with giving yourself some grace and some space right now in this moment. Because it is a grievance process you will go through and you will grow through. And this moment in time, which is all it is, shall too pass. It will. It absolutely will. Trust and believe that, okay? Also, I don't want you to, you don't have a need. Okay, I kind of lost my train of thought, so now I'm trying to get that back. I was going to say you don't need to hustle your worth anymore. Yes, you don't need to hustle your worth anymore. Letting your legacy lead instead of your wounds. Letting your legacy lead instead of your wounds. That is powerful. Start showing up without explaining, without over explaining, without justifying, without giving someone a rationale. Like I said, no is a complete sentence. Just say, you know what? No, I don't feel like it. I'm not up to it. This is not what I want. This is not what I need. It is not in alignment with me and what my core values are. Just no, right? Start celebrating your wins. No asterisks, no apologies necessary. Just do it for you. because you deserve more. You deserve better. And you deserve to thrive, not just survive, right? I want you to not just survive entrepreneurship that's coming with all of this baggage from corporate. Let's throw that in the trash and start new. If you're done dragging old trauma into your new chapter, I want you to give me a call. I want you to book a call with me. You can't like pick up the phone and call me necessarily, but you can book a freedom and focus clarity call with me and let's talk. Okay. I am your freedom strategist. I am your holistic business coach and RN health and wellness educator. And I am ready when you are to help you build an aligned and profitable online brand and business while prioritizing your health, your healing, and your happiness. Focus on your freedom. What does your freedom path look like? What is your destiny? And how can we help you use business ownership as your vehicle to your destination while you're on the journey, getting the help, the support that you need from a coach like me, from a community like mine, right? So that you can change the trajectory of your life and your whole economic status. You don't have to be concerned about a job that's not treating you well, right? Or that environment that's not treating you well and causing you harm and doing long-term damage. And you can finally breathe and relax and live life on your terms. So why not now? Go ahead and book that call today. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends and watch the next video that YouTube recommends. Okay. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.